Desperate to make mountains out of molehills from the last 24 hours, Sky News has gone with Reform UK's Zia Yusuf defends MP accused of racism. And The Independent's gone one better. Reform Sarah Pochin. Adverts full of black people drive me mad. Labour called on Reform UK to distance itself from the MP's comments. Now, again, they're desperately trying to make hay with this, but any normal person in the UK and Ireland has made this point themselves dozens of times over the last few years. Every single one of them. In fact, on my last trip home, I hadn't seen my dad for a year. I walked in the house, he's watching the telly. The first thing he turned and said to me, soon as I walked in the door, was, "The telly's shite these days. I'm sick of seeing black fellas kissing." Right, before I read you some commie gibberish from The Independent, I'll show you what she actually said, shall I?
A bit left field, this one, but I think it's creepingly important. Would Reform do anything to look at the representation of the demographics of TV and public advertising? Because we're getting to the point now where adverts don't represent what this country looks like, and actually positive demonisation of white people, just portrayed as criminals or inadequate when they're not portrayed anywhere else. Now, the reason why this is important, we got a case of art imitates life, because we're getting to the point where a number of my friends think that we're being discriminated like in employment markets because white men are seen as useless and whatever and just invisible. And there's one financial institution which coincidentally uses a strikingly similar image of Nigel in their advertising for an incompetent, useless, arrogant white male. I just wondered if that's something Reform would look into.
Okay, Stuart, stay where you are. Sarah, what do you think of what Stuart's saying? What would Reform UK do about it, if anything?
I think Stuart's absolutely right. Drives me mad when I see adverts full of black people, full of Asian people, full of, people that basically are anything.
What's wrong with that, Sarah? What's wrong with that?
Well, it doesn't reflect our society, and I feel that your average white person, average white family is like I agree with you, Stuart, not represented anymore in TV.
There are lots of white people on television, Sarah, or they're not. There are lots of white people. There are lots of white men. There are lots of white women.
We're talking about adverts, and how many times do you look at a TV advert and you think there's not a single white person on it? And actually it is. It's something that's happened because, I believe, of the woke liberati that goes on inside, this sort of like in the arty-farty world. When it comes to, northern towns like Runcorn that I represent, it's just not representative of the rest of the country. Might be fine inside the M25, but it's definitely not representative of the rest of the country. And
what lies did she tell? What lies did she tell? Every single thing she said there is true. And on my last trip home, as I said about a year ago, every single person's made this comment to me. It's like normal people can't stop noticing it. They say things like, how come my hometown's 95% white, but every time I turn the telly on, you'd think I was watching The Cosby Show or The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It's ridiculous. It's completely disproportionate. If aliens were watching British television in this day and age, they'd assume it was in Africa. UK commercials are basically indistinguishable from Nigerian ones. And Stuart's point was a good one and a factually accurate one. And it is linked to the programming of the people. Everybody knows this. This isn't a conspiracy theory. The bumbling, incompetent, stupid father is now a TV trope. The intelligent, hard-working, diligent mother and the complete Hmong child of a dad. That's what we see. So again, what happened here? Nothing. She was honest. The question was a good one. No harm done, eh? Well, no. Lots of harm done, apparently, because the liberati, self-serving sacks of rats that run the world these days have been making hay with it for the last 2 days. So much so that it's all that's on my Twitter these days, 24/7. Ed Davey, this is racism. What a nasty piece of work she is. If Sarah Pochin doesn't lose the whip, we can only assume her disgraceful racism is endorsed by the party. I feel for her constituents. Sarah Pochin's comments were a disgrace, and Nigel Farage's silence is deafening. It's unending. Seriously, that's all you've seen on Twitter for like 2 days. Every single one of them. It's unbelievable. Again, a manufactured crisis. But you know what? Old Frogface is a bit of a fanny, isn't he? So I wouldn't be surprised if he bins her. We'll see. Again, I'm a pragmatist above all else. So I think more than anyone else on YouTube with a medium-sized presence, I've been flag waving for reform. I think they're the only choice in the short term. But it'll be telling if he bins her, just because Wes Streeting and Ed Davey have drummed up 2 days' worth of crying about comments that are totally reasonable. You know it's not a big deal because even the Independent article can't make it into something that it isn't. They've tried to word this as aggressively as they can, but it doesn't sound that bad. It just says that Sarah Pochin has hit out at woke adverts full of the obvious, and it drives her mad, claiming the average white family is no longer represented. They aren't. They aren't any longer represented. And she was indeed responding to a viewer's question. She didn't just randomly come out with it. She said it doesn't reflect our society and it feels like your average white person is not represented anymore. It's the woke liberati in the arty-farty world. 100% factually accurate. It might be fine inside the M25, but it's not representative of the rest of the country. Nigel Farage needs to condemn this now and urgently clarify whether Sarah Pochin's views on race are welcome in his party. Well, they are with the general public, and that should be all that matters. Oh yeah, one last thing, just to Stuart's point there. I'm sure you all seen this a couple of days ago, didn't you? In response to a petition for a women-only tube carriage amid growing sexual assaults and harassment issues, the Daily Mirror published this story about it and obviously used a posh white bloke in a suit harassing a person of colour for the thumbnail image. Yeah, because that happens loads, that happens loads. There's a massive problem with posh blokes in Savile Row suits creeping on black women on the subway, and it definitely isn't the exact opposite of what usually happens, is it? No, definitely not. Even the women in the comments were like, yeah, hey, I'm a black woman. I have never once been harassed by a posh guy in a suit. Plenty of drill rappers trying to cop a feel, though, if you know what I mean. And I'm sure you remember this ad from earlier in the year, right?
What?
Nothing.
I can stand here.
Yes.
I can stand here if I like. Just take a photograph of me. Hi. Did you just photograph me? What? That's assault.
Please ignore him.
No, photographing me without my permission, yeah, it's assault.
Yeah, the average hypocritical pervert, deviant scum on the train, touching women up and acting like a complete chopper. Yeah, they always look like that. They're always blonde, always. Don't believe your lying eyes. As I've said many times before, these people are in the grip of a toxic ideology that has consumed them body and soul. They will reject their own eyes and ears because they're in a cult, but you don't have to. We all know what the problem is with sexual harassment on tubes, and we all know who's predominantly doing it. This is why they'll never get to the bottom of any of these issues. This is why the grooming gang scandal is as big a deal as it is, and old Sheep Teeth Phillips is in bother because they refuse to view the world as it is, rather than as they wish it. To the point where if 250,000 girls tell them that the predominant sex fiends running grooming gangs in the UK are from Pakistan and Bangladesh, they refuse to believe it. They just stick the fingers in their ears and go, la, 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 la. No. Definitely mostly, pasty blonde fellas doing it. Yeah, of course they are. So here we are, Sarah Pochin or Ponchin or however the bloody hell you pronounce that weird surname is constantly getting draked over the coals for nothing. And the likes of Ed Davey and Wes Streeting, sloshing portaloos of human beings that they are, will constantly tell you, don't believe your lying eyes, ladies and gentlemen, believe me, the rat in a suit. You couldn't make it up. It's laugh out loud funny. So thanks for the material once again, gentlemen. All right, thanks for tuning in. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you all soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.